If you grew up in an African home, especially a Nigerian home, this video is for you. In many African homes, you can be struggling deeply and you're told phrases like, "You are fine. At least you have food. Others are suffering more than you." Or you hear, "Pray about it." You could be very anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, and the response you get is not concern. It is usually comparison. So today we're talking honestly about mental health in African homes. What we have inherited emotionally, what we have normalized, and how we can heal without losing our culture. And let me say this clearly from the start. I am African. I am a Nigerian, and I love being a Nigerian. As a psych mental health provider, and as someone raised in an African home, I see a pattern every single day. Highly functional adults, successful professionals, parents, leaders, but emotionally exhausted. Many of us were not raised to ask, "How do you feel?" We were raised to ask, "Did you eat? Did you pass? Are you working?" Our parents didn't have emotional language. They had survival skills, and survival was the priority. Let me be very clear. African homes do not mean that they're broken homes. African homes are strong homes. We value family, community, faith, hard work, endurance. You will hear me refer to Nigerian homes a lot throughout this video, and it is because I grew up in one and I feel comfortable talking about it. In Nigerian homes, you were never raised alone. There's always aunties, uncles, neighbors, church members. But here is the truth. Strength without emotional safety can quietly become pressure. Culture explains behavior, but it doesn't cancel emotional impact. Let's talk about many experiences most of us grew up with. 1. Emotional suppression. In many Nigerian homes, crying was not encouraged. If you cried, you heard, "Stop crying. Be strong. What is the crying for?" And boys were told, "Men don't cry," while girls were told to endure. So we didn't learn how to process emotions. We learned how to swallow them. And swallowing emotion don't disappear. They resurface later as anxiety, anger, and numbness. 2. Achievement equal worth. In many African homes, love felt tied to performance. You bought a home, got good grades, you were praised. You struggled emotionally, you were corrected. Some of us learned early, if I succeed, I am valued. If I fail, I am a disappointment. So we became achievers, high performers, but inside, constantly we're afraid of failing. 3. Silence around mental health. In many Nigerian homes, mental health was not discussed. Depression was called laziness. Anxiety was called lack of faith. Therapy was called for Oyinbo people. So instead of support, people suffered quietly. And suffering quietly became a badge of honor. Let's talk about faith, mental health, and faith. African homes are deeply spiritual. Nigerian homes especially. Prayer is powerful. Faith is powerful. But prayer is not always a replacement for treatment. Mental illness is not a spiritual failure. Taking medication doesn't mean you don't trust God. If someone had high blood pressure, we won't tell them just pray harder. So mental health deserves the same seriousness too. God can work through therapy. God can work through medication, and God can work through support. So what happens in an African child when they grow up with this? It often looks like difficulty setting boundaries, chronic guilt, overworking, people-pleasing, emotional numbness, fear of disappointing the family. Many Nigerian adults don't realize they're anxious because anxiety looks like productivity in our culture. You may be the strong one, the dependable one, the one everyone leans on, but strength without rest leads to burnout. Many of us learned early to not complain. You were fed, you were clothed, you were educated. So emotionally, we learned I should not feel this way. But emotional pain doesn't disappear because someone else has it worse. Pain is pain. Let's break this cycle. Healing doesn't mean rejecting your culture. Healing means updating it. If we can update it, learning emotional language, setting respectful boundaries, seeking therapy without shame, teaching our children that feelings are allowed, redefining success beyond suffering, you can honor your family, your parents, and still choose emotional health. You can love your culture and still protect your nervous system. Now, this is my message to African parents, elders. Many African parents did the best they could with what they knew. But emotional availability matters. Listening matters. Validation matters. Children don't need perfection. They need presence. If this video resonated with you, you are not weak. You are becoming aware. Mental health awareness is not a betrayal of the African culture. It is an act of love for yourself and for the future generation. If this spoke to you, like this video, share it with someone who grew up African, and comment below, I am healing, because healing in African homes start with honest conversations.